Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 44 of the Life of Gaming podcast. My name is Jamie and I'll be your captain on this cruise of video game awesomeness. And you all know my co-host, the clank to my ratchet, Mr. Josh Brandt.
The clink to your ratchet indeed. How are you, sir?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
Good. You ready for some Batman versus Superman action?
Oh, I am so hyped. Did you see the
one-on-one action there?
Did you see the wonderful feud I had going with Bobby on Twitter the other day? I kept posting
I heard about it.
Hashtag Team Batman just because I knew it would make him mad. Oh, dude, it was great.
Isn't he? He's Team Batman.
He is 100%. He is Team Batman. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Superman will just use those red laser eyes to the face. Right there.
But, also, it's a very sad week for me as well because my March Madness bracket is pretty much gone.
Everybody's March Madness bracket is gone.
Right.
Decimated. I just threw $5 to the wind.
Who had Michigan State making it to the final two? This guy.
Nope.
Right here.
Nope. I did him winning 2 games, though. But as you guys heard, we have a very special guest on our show today. Mr. Brandt, why don't you introduce our guest today, sir?
This is Mr. Lou Contaldi from DualShockers. How are you doing today?
Hello, sir.
Or tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Perfect. Awesome. We are very glad to have you, sir.
Yes, you were on. I was on a podcast with you, Geeks by Night, but now I know you're writing specifically for DualShockers. So why don't you tell us about what's going on over there, what you're working on, things like that?
Sure. To give a little bit of background on my place in the game industry, how I stumbled into it. I started when I was in law school, which is, of course, the best time to start anything.
Right.
Just writing for a personal blog. I was like, you know what? I really suck at writing, and I'm going to have to write a lot as a lawyer. So what better way than to write about something I like? I ended up just making a personal blog. From then, I eventually started working with a very small gaming website, gaming news startup, middle of nowhere gaming. Was there for about 1.5 years, and that was a ton of fun. They're still operating, and I left them to start my own thing, Geeks by Night, which ran for about 3 or 4 months. We had Josh there. It was a fun time. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had we were competing for who had the best beard. I still contend that my beard his is unruly and really, bold. Mine is more...
Right.
Mine is
There's
definitely...
There's a little stunts coming out here. Yours looks very trim. You guys got to look professional, though.
I do.
Well, one thing I want to say to all the listeners, make sure to check out our YouTube page because we do have a video version of our podcast every week. So if you want to see these wonderful beards on these men, go ahead and check out our YouTube page. Well,
I'm flaking everywhere, and maybe you should have watched that.
That is the worst thing about beards.
It's beard dandruff, man.
Oh, it's absolutely awful.
It's turned into the beard cast.
Just to finish up, I ended up leaving Geeks by Night. I worked with a somewhat big Nintendo news, just aggregate site, My Nintendo News, until I started working at DualShockers. I'm now just a staff writer there, hopefully moving up in the ranks soon.
Cool.
But it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, we are very happy to have you tonight, man. This is great. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. I was just going to say what you said about getting onto a video game writing site and just writing and how it makes you better is totally true because myself with my writing, ever since I've been writing for a video game site, has just gotten so much better. I was writing like caveman style.
Right.
It's terrible. Same thing for podcasting. I used to be the worst speaker, and now I'm actually not. I actually have pronouns and adjectives I'm saying, so it's getting better.
That is
you almost know all of English. You could practically pass second grade.
Yeah.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
almost there.
Well, with that, guys, let's start off our show with what we've been playing. So, Lou, we'll go ahead and start with you, man. What have you been playing lately?
All right. Well, typically I like to juggle a lot of things with my schedule. I like to have one big game and one small game. The big game I'm playing right now is The Division. I try to go on every day, and everyone's been doing that. I'm playing catch up with it. I've been doing a couple reviews, and I had bar prep and all that. On the side, I'm playing a small game. I don't know if you guys have even heard of it, called The Flame and the Flood.
I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure have.
That's a small Xbox One game by Molasses Flood, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's kind of like Don't Starve for the Xbox.
Oh, James.
Repetitive towards the end.
Okay.
But it's beautiful. It's got a great soundtrack, and it's made by people from Irrational and people from who worked on Guitar Hero and Halo. It's really interesting for a small indie game. I'm really excited to see what they do next.
Awesome. Well, actually, Lou, real quick.
So what is it? Is it like... No, I was just going to ask, is it like a roguelike, or what type of genre is it?
Yeah, it's a roguelite inventory management survival game, maybe is how I'd put it. Basically, it's post-apocalyptic. You're going down the river, and your goal is to get to the end of the river where there's hopefully some sort of sanctuary for you. And the whole time you have to make sure that you're constantly managing your resources, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're getting enough food, that you're avoiding bears, that you're beating the hell out of snakes. And so it's if you've played Don't Starve, it's kind of like that, though I think it's a lot more approachable.
Okay, cool.
Man, I want to play that now. That sounds right up my wheelhouse.
Right. Well, the question I was going to ask, Lou, what systems do you have currently?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at it now. Xbox One, PlayStation 4. I'm the one person in the world who owns a Steam machine.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Vita, 3DS, the new one, of course. So I have a bit of everything, and I juggle too many games and never finish one of them.
I've got the exact same problem. I don't have all the systems, but I play too many games, and I end up not finishing and jumping around. But hey, Brant, what have you been playing, man? It's been a couple weeks.
All right. Well, I finished Sultan's Sanctuary.
Oh, yeah?
I wrote the review for that. Yeah. Have you played that, Lou?
No, I downloaded it. That's going to be my small game of next week. And
Great.
I'm super excited. How do you like it?
Well, I'll just say this. If you are anywhere near into Dark Souls, Demon Souls, it's the perfect companion to that game.
All right.
Because it's basically just the 2D version. And the atmosphere, I mean, they rip totally from Dark Souls, pretty much. So if you like brutal combat, magnificent bosses, it's perfect for that. It is difficult, so it's not for everyone, James, I know.
Sure.
It'd be
Right,
too hard
you're
for
hilarious,
you, so
sir. You
don't
are
play.
hilarious.
No, but yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10 because I liked it so much. Because I love the Souls games anyway. The only problem I have with it is that when you attack and you get knocked down, the enemies can still hit you. In Dark Souls and Demon Souls, it wasn't like that, and that can be a little frustrating, getting some cheap hits there. But overall, I mean, it has platforming. Unlike the other Dark Souls games, you can actually jump, and yeah, good enemy variety. I highly recommend it. And then as for my big game, well, Plants vs. Zombies 2 Garden Warfare, Eli's been going full throttle on that.
Now, you're still renting that, right? Did you buy it, or are you still renting that?
Yeah, I'm going to have to return because I'm going on vacation next week to South Carolina,
cool.
So I can't take it with me there. But yeah, that's been a great experience. Now, what
console do you play that on?
I played on the PS4.
Oh, okay.
And it runs well. There's so many modes in it. It's a full fleshed out game. It's actually like you could pay $60 versus Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1, where it didn't feel like full game.
Right. And I don't think Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, the first one, I don't think it was a full price. Wasn't that like $40 when it came out?
I think it was.
Yeah, because I got that launch on Xbox One,
$50.
so yeah. I don't think it was full price.
Then it eventually became free, so then I just downloaded it that way. But yeah, that's one we've been having fun with. And then the other one, I've been playing through the Uncharted series. I'm going to try with Dark Souls 3 coming out soon. I'm trying to get through Uncharted, all of them before them, which probably is going to happen. But I'm playing Uncharted 1 right now, and yeah, it's as good as I remember it. I mean, I can't wait until I get into Uncharted 2 and 3 because I have fond memories of those. And I think those are just the overall better games because some of the mechanics are a little not too great in my opinion playing now. But I'm also playing one last game, Uncharted Golden Abyss. I'm also about to finish that on the Vita. And if you have a Vita and you haven't checked out that game, go ahead and try it because it's one of the best titles on the Vita. The touch controls are finicky. I don't like how they shoehorned everything in the game like that, but I mean, it's Uncharted on your handheld pretty much. And for James, for you, you can actually hold the Vita up and aim that way, like you said with Splatoon.
Like with right.
So
cool.
when playing it, I was like, actually, like this is no, but I'm gonna compliment you. It actually feels good. I did not think it would feel good, but it actually is. You can get headshots really well that way. So
yeah, absolutely. And
you never want to go back.
Right.
Yeah, well, it's fun.
See, I'm telling you, man. I know you didn't like the Wii, but man, if you played the Metroid games, first-person shooters with the pointer controls, really good. And I mean, they kind of do that on the Wii U, like I said, with Splatoon. And then actually, what I'm playing right now, Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess HD, when you can aim with your arrows and stuff with the movement, the gyro inside the Wii inside the gamepad.
Gamepad.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny because I'm pretty far into that game. I'm up to the first water temple. I'm almost, I don't want to, people that are playing it now, it's an old game. There's a point in the game where you can switch through the wolf and the human at will. I'm almost to that point. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm playing through. It's kind of funny going back and playing it on Wii U, like I mentioned last time, because I played it on the Wii. So everything's in reverse. So, when I'm trying to go right, but I actually have to go left this time, it's just kind of weird. But I've been playing through that. I've been playing a little bit of Disney Infinity with my wife, playing through that. I really haven't done much gaming. Playing some more Pokemon Blue, just slowly going through that. Just chipping away really. But on Friday, I'm actually getting my copy of Hyrule Warriors Legends. I'm going to be doing a comparison video between the Wii U version and the 3DS version. So I actually really like Hyrule Warriors a lot on Wii U. It's a great game. It's a very underrated game. It's a game you can just shut off your mind and just play. You just go through and hack and slash and throw your hundreds of bombs, and it's great.
Oh, man. That's why I love the Warriors series so much. Everybody's like, they're so repetitive, but it's just, I just turn off the sound, listen to my podcast, and you just slay thousands of enemies. It's great.
Right.
There's too many podcasts to go through. I mean, I've such a backlog.
Yeah.
And I just switched to a new job where my commute, I had an hour commute both ways, and now I have like a 2-minute commute both ways. My job is like literally, I can see it out my window. So I can pretty much walk there. And now I'm like, I don't have time for all these podcasts anymore.
I know.
It's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, I had the same thing too. I was driving 45 minutes to work back and forth each way, and now it's like 7 minutes maybe.
It's hard. It
takes me a whole day. It takes me a whole day where like I'll drive to work and then I'll drive home for lunch. I'll drive back to work and then I'll drive home at the end of the day. Like, so if you add all that time together, I might get through one podcast.
Right.
It's rough, man. It's rough.
It is podcasting. Whew.
I know. But okay, guys, anything else you guys have been playing? No? Okay.
Nothing noteworthy.
Okay. Well, with that, guys, we'll get on to our news section and what we call Captain's Log. Well, our news section this week is going to kind of be our topic of the week later in the show. So we're going to hit on some news points now, but it'll kind of carry on to the last quarter of the show. But we'll start off with our Xbox news. The big Xbox news over the last 2 weeks, Xbox has come out and said that they are going to open the doors for cross-network play. So before, I don't know if there's been any games where they've had Xbox and PC connectivity. Well, they do now on some of the Windows 10 stuff. And PS4 has, with PC, they've been doing it since, Portal 2? I know Portal 2 did it. And they're doing it with Rocket League now. But this is going to be the first time when they'll allow cross-network. So, in theory, the Xbox people can play the PC people, can play the PS4 people. They can all play each other. And Psyonix, the creators of Rocket League, they want to be the first ones to do this because Xbox right now said it is just for indie games. It's not going to be for big titles yet, just indie games. But the creators of Rocket League said they think they've kind of they figured it out. They've got the key to open this door and kick it wide open. So, I mean,
we'll have console love
right
finally happen.
Right.
We can all gather together.
So I guess, Lou, will ask you, what do you think this means for the gaming community? Is this a big deal?
I think this means that Psyonix in Rocket League is the peacemaker that the gaming industry has needed for at least 20 or 30 years.
Sure.
It's definitely a monumental achievement. I think that maybe it's spurred on by Xbox's comparably lower sales. A way to boost that by saying, oh, you can play with everyone who might be playing on PlayStation 4 for these small indie games. But I do think that this is a great move. I think that this is really the first push down the hill that maybe we'll eventually all be playing games in the future together, no matter what system we're on.
Awesome. And I'm actually, well, unless you're on Nintendo, right?
Yeah. But
Nintendo's network, I mean, I love Nintendo, but their online presence is awful. But Brant, the real question is, on your nice shiny PS4, would you actually play with us dirty, gross Xbox players?
Ew.
You don't want to get your Xbox
step over in that territory.
The grass is always greener on the PlayStation side of the fence, right?
I think, anything to unify all people to play together is just a good way to go. And I know it's something that the companies have been throwing around, but it's great to finally see developers and publishers start to get behind this idea and just say, okay, let's open the doors here. Let's have more of a unified approach to who can play each other. And it's only going to help the video game industry, in my opinion, get more players. Yeah.
Right. And I agree with what you said, Lou. I think being an indie studio, it's less threatening. Like, if it was one of the big companies saying, yeah, let's do this, everyone would be against it. But because it's an indie studio that wants to bring these two together, I think that makes it a little bit easier for PlayStation to say, okay. Because PlayStation hasn't come out and said they're going to do it yet. Their response was, we have cross-network play. We play with PC all the time. But they didn't say yes. Xbox said, hey, the door's open. They put out the olive branch. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it looks really good on Xbox's side. PlayStation might have something up their sleeve. I mean, they have a lot going into VR, so they might not want to kick the doors down right away.
Sure.
Potentially, this might just be a power play by Xbox. What if they know that just based on the architecture, there's no way this would ever work. There's no way that you could ever do. Like, it's difference between PC and I'm sure they could find a way. But what if they know that it would be another 2 or 3 years of trying to figure it out, and they're just making the move and saying, oh, of course we'll do it. Just PlayStation, just open your door and we're ready to go.
Right. Yeah, because we don't know.
Yeah. But I've been watching a lot of House of Cards lately, so I'm kind of in that mindset of just espionage and all that.
Because you're right. I mean, maybe this was a move for Psyonix to look like the good guys, but they have no idea how to do it. They're like, hey, we'll do it.
Right.
You never know.
How do we do it?
Right. Well, speaking of PlayStation, Brant, I know you are excited for PlayStation VR, but Sony came out and announced the launch plans for PlayStation VR. It will be launching this October for $399.
$399.
So why don't you let our listeners know what all comes with the $399, sir?
$399. Well, it comes with the base unit. It comes with the little power brick that you need. It comes with the cables. It doesn't come with any wands or the camera. So lots of people are crying foul about this, but I think this is actually a good idea, because for all the people that would have had a camera, they would have been like, hey, why are you shipping another camera in this? And they're actually releasing a SKU that's $499, which will include the camera. It'll include like one of those Wii Sports games that you get, and then 2 wands.
I think it's PlayStation Worlds, maybe
something like that. Yeah, probably show off a lot of tech demos.
What was
VR,
that?
But
what was that sports game called for the Move on PlayStation?
Sports Heroes,
Sports Champions or something.
sports champions.
It was
something very
like
generic.
Because I mean, I had the move on my PS3 and it came with that sports game. I think it was something like that.
No, it was fun. It was. I mean, it worked just like the Wii Sports, pretty much.
Right.
It actually, the tech was better than the Wii, but everybody played the Wii more than the Move. So
right.
Of course, it gained rather traction. But for $399, I think that's about as good as it gets for price. And the crazy thing is, Sony's not really. There's reports that they're not losing any profits from it, which I thought with every unit they would lose.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah,
every unit they sell, they're making money.
Right off the bat. I mean, that's just going to go into their funding for this, and they're going to make really good content out of the bat. I mean, it's going to be good times. And like I said, Best Buy started going into my 2 cents here.
Sure,
Best Buy has the camera for $39.99 instead of the $59.99.
Cool.
So if you're looking to get into VR, you're going to need the camera. So you might as well go to Best Buy this week. This week, I think it goes until Sunday or Monday. Go get the camera so you're prepared. So that's. I think
the
that's
Boy
my
Scout
delving
way.
into
Always
point.
prepared.
Yeah. I think that's my delving into way of saying that I'm leaning more towards the VR than the NX.
Sure.
Yes, James, we talked about this.
Right. I was going to say, speaking of that, we just put a video up on our YouTube page. I'm going to go ahead and plug this again. Subscribe to our YouTube page. We just put a video up about PlayStation VR launch in October and the possible launch of the NX this winter, fall-ish time, and if they would affect each other. And I kind of made the point on there that I think the NX is going to be okay, and kind of gave my reasons why. And part of that reason being stock, because PlayStation VR at announcement, all the pre-orders are pretty much gone. Like it's done. And like you said, Brant, PlayStation is making money, or Sony's making money on every unit sold, so they've got to be rolling the dough on this thing already. I can't imagine.
Right. And like I said, we talked about this. I was leaning toward the NX more, but now I'm sort of shifting back to the PlayStation VR because I have so much invested in PlayStation as it is anyway. So I already have all those games. And then the theater mode, which they talked about, that you can just put it on and play any PS4 game with the PSVR headset. It's not totally VR per se, but it's like it's right there. And that
it's like sitting in a big movie theater. Yeah,
it pretty much really sold me on the idea. And now I'm probably going to go on the VR bandwagon.
So, okay, cool. So what you're saying, you're going to have that big headset on your head, and you'll be in the game world, and your son's going to be like falling down the stairs with a broken leg. You're going to have no idea. And you're going to be like looking like this, swinging your little move controller.
Daddy, help me.
And you'll try to run to save him. You'll be like, and you'll like yank you back.
Just yank. It pulls the TV and PS4 off.
Well, Lou, I mean, what about you? Are you excited for VR at all? I mean, where are you sitting in the VR camp?
Well, I'm excited enough that I pre-ordered it.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
So,
wow.
Hopefully I mean, it's one of those Amazon ones, so I could technically pull it at any point and be fine, but I want to make sure that I have the option of getting it day one.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm totally for it. Everything they showed looked great. I know it's not necessarily the quality of Oculus or Vive, but yeah, there's just something about it working on my PlayStation and it being able to show all of my PlayStation games. And I technically already own a VR game for PlayStation because I have Volume.
Sure.
So I'm already in the space. So yeah, I'm very excited. And I mean, NX, they haven't announced anything yet. I'm still on the fence.
Okay.
I know I'm probably absolutely going to buy every Nintendo console. I have loyalty to the brand.
Sure.
But whether it's day one, whether it's day one or, a few weeks or months later, matters whether, if I have to take a loan, if I don't have to take a loan. But I want to have the NX. They need to announce the price. They need to announce the games. They need to announce what the controller looks like.
Right. Actually, speaking of Nintendo, that's a great segue into our next news story. Actually, we'll start with the controller. Recently, 2 separate leaks of this NX controller, supposedly NX controllers, come out. It's too. Some people say it's too close to a patent that came out a long time ago, where it's like this oval screen with 2 thumbsticks on it. Like that's all it is, and it's
like
got
the Silver
touch
Surfer's
buttons on it.
board.
It's very, very strange. But I mean, Lou, what do you think of this controller? Because I know you've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's as rumory as rumors get. I just retweeted something. I thought it was hysterical. It was someone's like, "Oh, well, besides the controller, I have secret screenshots of the NX console." And you know how the controllers have the like secret confidential like on it in like a sticker or something. Someone just put that sticker on the PlayStation 4. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope that's not the controller.
Right.
I can't part ways with buttons. Like, no buttons? Are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm uncomfortable with the idea of scrolly wheels.
Yes.
For the
for the shoulder. Right. It's very strange.
Right. And I was hoping that it would be something that would be easy to carry around in your pocket. If we are talking like a fusion console, which has long been rumored, I was hoping the controller, if it did have a screen, if it was something you could play on your own without the console, it'd be something a little more portable. That has a nice kind of design, but the sticks are jutting out, and I'm not sure how I like that.
Sure, but the more I've read about it, they said, well, the sticks are kind of flat. They're more like the circle pads. They just kind of slide around, like on the 3DS. So I don't know. We'll see. Nintendo's actually really smart with the DS and 3DS with the clamshell design, because you just close it and it protects everything, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man, because I'm the same way. The shape. It's not horrible. I mean, if they added grips on the back, because it looks like it's just like there's no way to hold on to it. But the thing, like I agree with you. The thing that bothers me the most is the lack of buttons, because Nintendo themselves said they don't want to make cell phone games because they like having actual physical buttons. Because if you're pushing on a virtual screen button, it's not the same. So we'll see. I mean, if let's say that is the controller. I mean, I've learned to trust Nintendo with what they're doing, because like with the Wii, people thought they were crazy, but showed us Wii Bowling, and like Skyward Sword, these games that really use the Wii remote really well. And then with Wii U, we got Super Mario Maker, which is great. We got Splatoon, which was great. They used the gamepad in somewhat unique ways. So if this really was a Nintendo controller, Nintendo has to have some kind of proof of concept good enough to base a system around it. I don't know, Brant. Brant, have you seen this controller that's been floating around?
Okay, so what could it be for if it's not the NX? What do you think it could be for? I mean,
some people say it's just a mock-up. Like it's too close to the patent where some trolls got it and they made it and they took a whole bunch of pictures of it and they shot it around to their friends, and now they're putting it in all these different places, like an Easter egg hunt. They placed them in all these different like Reddit threads and all this stuff, and I don't know. I mean,
like I said, it looks like something the Silver Surfer like glides on.
Sure.
Right.
That just the controller alone. I'm like you said, you got to hold out hope for Nintendo because they use the Wii remote in such an innovative way.
Right.
Even though I don't like playing that way. Yeah. It brought people into the fold, but overall, it's just another thing that makes me skeptical about them when they need to do everything right this time to reel me back in. And
sure,
this controller really isn't giving me that wow factor that, oh, that's so innovative. But didn't they say it could run like Unreal Engine 4 or something?
For what?
For the controller? Like on the little screen, it's like PS4 quality graphics.
Right. What a lot of people are comparing this to is like the Vita. Like this is going to be like the Nintendo version of the Vita. Which, I mean, it would be fine. I mean, that'd be great to have a super powerful.
I love my Vita, so hey.
So I mean, and they said, for comparison's sake, it's roughly the same size as a Vita. So I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be weird having the whole console is the screen, which is kind of weird. Yeah. But actually, speaking of, I'm sure Nintendo they'll use that and the Wii U and not doing well. Another rumor that popped up is that Nintendo will cease production of the Wii U by the end of the year. Nintendo has recently come out saying, oh, that's not part of the plan. as of right now. But I think if the NX comes out and is super successful, the Wii U is probably done. I mean, I absolutely love my Wii U. It's fantastic. I use it pretty much every day. If not playing games on it, we use it for Hulu and Netflix and Amazon and all that stuff. And plus, it's the only video game system my wife likes to play. So things like Disney Infinity and Mario Kart. I mean, we always have the Wii U on. And it had some awesome games this generation. Like Pikmin 3 was great, Wonderful 101, Bayonetta 2, oh my gosh, Bayonetta 2 was amazing, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. But I mean, Lou, do you think the Wii U, I mean, I guess as a console, not just sales, but as a console, do you think it was a failure?
That's a loaded question.
Sure.
As a console, no, I don't think it was a failure. If we're talking sales, if we're talking what it was able to give back to Nintendo, that's a different story. But I think as a console, with the game library it has, I think that it's, if we're going just average, the average Wii U game will likely be better than the average PlayStation 4 game or the Xbox One game, because there's so little Wii U games and so many of them are like good quality. Yeah, I have a bunch of memorable experiences with Wii U. I don't think that anyone looks back at it. Oh, I'm sure there are people, but I think that Nintendo fans are going to look back at it and enjoy the time they spent with it. They're eager to move on to the next thing. They realize that we're at the end years, but I don't think I would call it a failure.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
it's the apocalypse.
It'll probably be like the GameCube, because the GameCube sales are pretty abysmal. I mean, of course, it's much worse. It's like half the sales of the GameCube. But I agree. As far as games go in overall system, I think Nintendo did a great job, but it's that lack of third-party support that shot them in the foot. Not having Madden and not having, just little things like Rock Band, and they don't have anything to fill in the gaps. That's the problem. Right. And if the NX...
Do you think this...
Go ahead, Brant.
Oh, I was just going to say, do you think this new controller is... I would say, since it's so much different than what the PS4 and Xbox One's doing, do you think that's a problem with getting third-party developers back in again?
I think absolutely. Because I mean, part of the problem
that's the biggest problem I see.
Right, because not only do they have to program the game for another system, they have to find a way to make this controller work, which also takes up power. Because like with the Wii U, some of the power was put to streaming to things to the gamepad, and it just extra production costs, and they knew it wasn't going to sell because the install base wasn't there. So what Nintendo really needs to do is kind of get themselves in line with the other systems. And I mean, they like being different. Nintendo likes being different, which is great because they're very innovative in that way, but they can't be too different this time. They got to make sure they stick close enough to the road where third parties can port easy enough.
That's why I want to say that this will absolutely not be the controller. I mean, first off, they need that third-party support. That's clearly not going to be there if they have to port to a completely new controller and interface and all of that. It's all too complicated. But the other thing is, it would compromise Nintendo's current revenue streams, which include not only their primary game, their first-party games, which I'm sure they'll be able to develop for whatever new component they make, but what about Virtual Console? That gets thrown out the window entirely, and that's probably their second biggest revenue stream.
Sure.
Think about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although, actually, one quick question before we leave this news for you, Lou. Do you think Nintendo will be smart and do, like, if you have a Wii U and you bought all these Virtual Console games, when the NX comes out, you can just download them again? Or do you think they're going to charge, like with the Virtual Console coming to new 3DS, Super Nintendo games, you have to pay full price for them all over again? People are getting mad.
Yeah, they are getting mad. I'm not sure. I think that if they are going to make people rebuy again, full price into it, which I think might be likely, because it sounds like with My Nintendo and Nintendo accounts and all of those other new programs they're bringing in, it sounds like they're restructuring the entire interface behind and the online systems. My guess is they're going to make everyone buy back in full price, maybe at a discounted price to everyone. Hopefully there'll be cheaper games, but I think it'll come with the promise that these are now linked to your account.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that would be nice.
If they could just get back in people's good graces by allowing you to just port over the games to the NX, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would go a long way.
Sure.
That's the problem I see, is that they skimp out too much on customer satisfaction, I feel. With their games don't even go down in price for years after they're released. I mean, Skyward Sword, it's still full price game.
Yeah.
It's a little ridiculous, and I wish that they'd take a more consumer-friendly stance on things, much like PlayStation and now Xbox are doing.
Right.
Going the Steam route. So.
Right. And I agree with that, because I think what Nintendo's doing right now is people like you grew up, playing Nintendo and Super Nintendo, but over time, they kind of burned you too many times. And now, you're going full on PlayStation, and a lot of people have done that, either Xbox or PlayStation. They've grown out of Nintendo. Nintendo needs to find a way to bring the
win us back.
Right.
They have to win us back. And that's, like I said, what they're showing right now isn't pulling me back. It's pulling me away.
Sure.
Like I was for the NX, and now I'm thinking about the PSVR again. If they want to pull us in, they have to change things and become more consumer friendly and show that they care about having games on the system, plentiful amount of games, and that they'll be with the third parties. And
right.
I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah,
right now.
I mean, because like I said before,
knows?
Oh, yeah, right. But like I said before, on this show, honestly, if Nintendo had decent third-party support, and I could play Fallout, and I could play Assassin's Creed, and I could play those big games on my Nintendo system, I wouldn't really need two systems. I mean, the main reason I have my Xbox One and my Wii U, I need that Xbox One for a lot of those exclusive, not just exclusive, but the third-party stuff Nintendo will never get, which is, that's just the way it is. It's been that way for 2 generations now. So, I mean, at least on the GameCube didn't sell, but at least the GameCube had third-party stuff.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if the NX has it so it's backwards compatible with the Wii U, so people like us or the millions of other people that didn't jump on the Wii U bandwagon can experience those games for the first time, I think that would be another huge step. Right. So I'm really hoping, for their sake, that it is backwards compatible. Yeah, because honestly, Brant, speaking of Bayonetta 2 earlier, I think you would absolutely love that game. Because you love Devil May Cry and things like that. You would absolutely love Bayonetta 2. Great game. But, okay. You think... Let's move on to our money saving section. I mean, we're recording this in the middle of the week this week, so there's not much in the way of sales, although there is a special Resident Evil sale going on right now. We mentioned in our last episode, the anniversary is happening this week, so pretty much everything under the sun. So Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, Steam, even the Wii U and 3DS. If it has a Resident Evil game on it, you're going to see a sale. But remember those awesome light gun games?
Yes.
Oh, what were they called? The Umbrella Chronicles.
The Umbrella Chronicles and Dark Side Chronicles. Oh, so good.
Get my move out for that.
Right. Well, Brant, you said you had a specific deal you wanted to mention, or is that the camera that you mentioned earlier?
That was the camera.
Oh, okay.
I did mention earlier.
Okay.
I was alluding to my 2 cents earlier.
Sure. So. Okay.
But yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to get a PSVR, get the camera now while it's cheap.
Cool. Okay.
For this week at least.
Sure.
At Best Buy. It's at Best Buy. So.
And then also the other thing, I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier or not, because we're bi-weekly, last week Xbox switched over their games with Gold, so now Lords of the Fallen is free. So if you want to check that out, if you have Xbox Gold, go ahead and download it. So actually the start of the month. What, Brent?
I was saying, if you're hunkering for a Dark Souls experience, Lords of the Fallen can scratch that itch. It's not as deep or complicated, but it's a good game.
Yeah, cool. And then the other one, at the beginning of the month, it was Sherlock Holmes something. I forget what the subtitle was.
Crimes and Punishment?
Sure. How about that?
Maybe.
I never played it. I download every Xbox Live Gold game when it's free. I just download it just because. But a lot of them I don't play, which sounds terrible. I've got all these games on my system. And I've got like a 2 terabyte.
I know, there's so many games.
So, but okay, guys. With that, we're going to hop into our topic of the week. Hit it, Brant.
Topic of the week. Xbox versus PS4. Boom. You caught me off guard. I'm not used to doing that.
That was beautiful, and
that was
didn't
so
really have
terrible.
a lot to do with our topic of the week. But we forgive you.
It has nothing to do
Lou,
with
I am so
verses.
sorry.
Oh,
Do not go into Brant's amazing songs.
You caught me
I'm
off,
sure.
man.
Yeah. He can sing it afterwards.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he's like, never again.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we were talking about the PlayStation and Xbox possibly becoming cross-network play. So, and we mentioned a little earlier what we thought that could mean for the system, where it could go, being smart, starting with indie games. But let's look, a few years down the road, and let's say some of these major games, like, Call of Duty and Madden, and what if all these games became cross-network? I guess, first of all...
I'm sorry, James.
Yeah.
I'm just my camera
Yeah.
of watching you is just stuck on you falling back in your chair just with this big grin. It's really funny.
That's what you get for having terrible internet.
Yep, I just get to see here watching you go like that the whole time. Oh, jeez. Okay, continue.
No problem. But I mean, as I was saying, let's imagine a few years down the road that cross network is absolutely a thing, and Madden and Call of Duty, all these games, you could all play each other. So I guess, Lou, we'll start with you. First of all, do you think that's a possibility? Or do you think this will just stick with, like, the indie stuff, the indie scene?
I think that, I think everything's moving in that direction. They're trying to make everything more compatible, and it's difficult to see where Xbox and PlayStation are going to be 10 years from now, but I'd like to believe that they're going to... At least the developers and the publishers are going to push more to have people play with each other.
Sure. And I guess, let me ask you, do you think that video game consoles in the future are going to be more like, I don't know, like a Blu-ray player, or like just a television where any Blu-ray player can play any Blu-ray disc? Or do you think that happening where maybe Xbox and PlayStation, it's going to be cross-play on both systems, and the only thing that'll be different really maybe a couple exclusive games here and there? I mean, we kind of already have that now because majority of what we have is third party. So I mean, what's stopping it from just being almost like a one console future?
I think people like having teams to root for, if I'm being honest. I mean, people like having political parties or political grounds where they're, team Sony, Team Nintendo, Team Sega. I mean, it's been that way since forever. And it's not really what each of them brings to the table anymore. I think competition is generally great in the video game market, because we see companies challenging each other and bringing the best out. Like, backwards compatibility for Xbox One clearly wouldn't have been there without PlayStation dominating its space. So I think it's going to be there, if only because people who play video games like the drama. Sure.
It's very true. Like, the fanboy wars are strong no matter where you are. But Brant, I guess, let me ask you, if cross-network play becomes a thing, and we can all play games with each other, like, you on your PlayStation, me on my Xbox, we sit down one night, play some Rocket League together, no problem. What do these systems need to do to kind of make it their own? What would make someone go for a PlayStation versus an Xbox?
And I think that's what the companies are having a hard time conveying, is that Sony's sort of dancing around the issue. Like, hey, we're already with PC, so they don't really want to give fuel to Xbox, because right now they're winning month after month in sales. So they don't see the reason. This is another good move by Microsoft, because it's like, hey, we're the ones being accepting, come to us. We want to have this unified platform where you can play anywhere. And, it's another thing that can look bad for Sony in the long run if they're not going full on board with saying, hey, this is a good idea. Let's try to unify everyone together so we can all play online across platforms. And like Lou said, it's always been you've always been the PlayStation guy or the Xbox guy, or Nintendo, Sega. So
Right.
it's going to be a huge hurdle to overcome because competition breeds success. And I think as long as both companies can come to terms, I think it'd be a good thing to at least have online play, but still have separate experiences on each console.
Sure. Well, let's say that we have a one console future where it doesn't matter, who makes the game. Do you think that would ever be a possibility where these individual companies like Microsoft and Sony, Nintendo, they just make games? I mean, do you think that would ever be profitable, or do you think that it would just be better for them to always have their own individual boxes?
Well, James, you remember Sony and Nintendo actually bonded together to form their own video game console. And I don't remember...
Sony PlayStation.
Right. Remember those pictures that
popped
up?
Nintendo PlayStation.
Nintendo PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah. And so something like that was already being described. I mean, it wasn't on this scale where they were going against each other yet, but they were still, combining things. And it's such a gray area where, like I said, I like the competition. I like it that they're always competing and going after each other. And, I think that's good for the industry and good for us as consumers in the long run.
Sure.
But like I said, I'd be fine. I would love to play games with you, like over the place. And I wish it was more in the hands of the developers. And like you guys said, the indie developers, that we could do that. I think that would be a good idea.
Sure. Well, Lou, let's say that this happens and Rocket League is the first game to make this happen. What is going to make the floodgates open for this to open up to all the other developers making games?
Just the fact that Rocket League can do it, because as soon as Rocket League can do it, that Activision is going to be there saying, wait a second, I want Destiny there. I want Call of Duty there. Why did Psyonix get to do it and we didn't? And then there's definitely going to be some talks about how much room they have that they can do that. But I'm pretty sure that as soon, when the floodgates open, they're going to open for everyone.
Okay. Well, let me ask you another quick question, because, Rocket League is a smaller game, but what's going to happen with something like Destiny 2? Let's say Destiny 2 comes out and we have cross-network play, which is fantastic. But the big thing now with third parties is not exclusive games on a system, it's exclusive DLC. Now, I think, will that become a problem? If, let's say I'm playing Destiny 2 with Josh and he's on PS4, I'm on Xbox One, Josh goes, oh, let's hop into this great new, this new planet, this new area, and I can't do it. I mean, is that going to cause an issue? Will this mean the end of exclusive DLC? Because if you have exclusive DLC, the cross-network play won't be as good of an option.
I was saying, I hope it does, and to, to be quite frank, I don't like the idea of companies spending more to have exclusive content on their system, and we have to wait months or maybe not even get it at all.
Sure.
So maybe that's another positive way to look at this. Maybe getting the two ecosystems together online will take away, because they can see the revenue from both sides and just add the DLC together on both ends. So that's a positive.
Sure.
Though I guarantee it that people, they're always going to find a way to work in exclusivity contract of some way. If it's not going to be multiplayer, then it's going to be, all right, well, here's Destiny. All the multiplayer content is the same, but every once in a while you can go on a solo mission that's PlayStation exclusive. And it'll be a story thing and you don't need to deal with I think that they're always finding a way to advertise and to make deals in the industry and promotion. So if it's not multiplayer DLC, then they'll find something.
Sure. And
unfortunately.
Right. And I could see it something like you get an exclusive costume or an exclusive weapon. It'll be something that doesn't alter the game that much, but it'll still be something where, okay, let's say in Destiny 2, you can have a special red helmet, and the guys on Xbox can't have this red helmet, and it doesn't matter what it is, all the PlayStation fanboys will be like, we have this awesome helmet, and it doesn't matter. Even if we have cross-network play and there's harmony through, all these systems, fanboys are gonna find a way to build up a new wall. I think that's just the way it is. That's like you mentioned earlier. People like having a team to root for. I mean, that's just the way it is. People always say they want world peace too, right? But there's always people are always
world
fighting.
Peace.
Right? People are always fighting,
Right.
always arguing. But okay.
Though that brings to mind. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
That brings to mind just a great opportunity they might have. I mean, it would be great if for these competitive games, they could have PlayStation versus Xbox wars. Like, imagine a PlayStation versus Xbox Rocket League tournament.
Oh, sure.
Where,
I like that.
at the end, they verse each other kind of like the World Series of Rocket League.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome.
That's a good idea. That's sort of like the Splatoon model where you have hot dogs versus sandwiches or whatever they do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good example, Josh.
I don't know if they ever did that. Sausages versus wieners. There you go.
But
That's
are
the
hot
same.
dog sandwiches?
That's the same. Brats versus hot dogs. There you go.
But, oh my gosh. Actually,
That's a brand.
Splatoon
color.
recently did Do You Want to Build a Snowman or Sandcastle? That was the most recent one.
I'm all for Sandcastle.
Actually, that would be really cool. Kind of like how the NFL, we've got the AFC and the NFC and all that stuff. And in baseball we have the different divisions. We could have like the Xbox division, the PlayStation division, the PC division, the Nintendo division, and we could all there could be like a World Series every year.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome.
That would be really cool.
Now that you spoke those words, like I want that.
Lou, make it happen.
Oh man,
Hire me.
of course Nintendo would be like the Cleveland Browns every year. The hope
No
is
one
there.
wins there.
And PlayStation would be like the horrible New England Patriots.
The evil empire. Yes.
Oh man, sorry, I had to put that out there.
What is your Xbox the beloved Colts?
Sure, why not? Oh man, that's hilarious. Well, I guess to kind of tie this up, do you think we will ever have a one console future? I mean, Brant, let's start with you. Do you think that will ever happen, or we always have these three companies?
No, I think it won't always be the same companies because different companies come in and do their own thing. Who knows if Apple will ever do something, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. Like I said, if anything, maybe unifying on different ends, like Microsoft, they're becoming receptive to the online components. And if Sony can jump on board with that, hopefully, I like the tournament idea. I think that's pretty good, actually. So hopefully they can come to some agreement within that framework. But I wouldn't want one console, to be honest with you. I like the variety and having choices, and it just wouldn't be the same.
Sure.
Because Nintendo would always be doing their own thing, and then everybody else would just be the superpower one.
Right.
Unit.
Sure. Well, Lou, what about you? Same question, man. Do you think we will ever have a one console future? Or you think it's always going to be like Brant was saying? We've got these three companies, but of course, before the three companies were Sega, Nintendo, and Sony, and now Sega's gone, and Microsoft took their spot. And it's like, do you think it'll always be kind of like this three console, setup?
Well, we already have a one console future, and it's the Ouya. But
Right.
Realistically, first off, no, we're never gonna have a one console future because there's so many antitrust violations and monopoly laws that would, be a huge problem if Sony and Microsoft were to merge together. That would shut everyone out. But if we're talking not in the legal sense, I just don't think it would happen. I think people like their teams. I think that there's too much benefit in and too much money in making consoles, and people know that. And it's not going to be the same three companies. I guarantee you, Nintendo or Microsoft or Sony is going to drop out at some point, and move to the software game. And maybe they'll come back and do hardware again. But
Dreamcast 2. Dreamcast 2.
Please, no.
Sorry, go ahead.
But it'll be a rotating cast of characters with the same kind of plot. So that's what I'm expecting.
Sure. Okay, cool. Well, Lou, thank you for joining us tonight on this wonderful episode of Life of Game. We hope you had a great time.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Awesome. We were glad to have you. Well, let our listeners know, where can they find you? On the internet and Twitter and Xbox and PlayStation, all those places.
All right. So if you want to check out my writing or any of my fellow staff's writing, we're over at DualShockers.com. You'll find us on whatever aggregator, Facebook, N4G, Twitter. We always have things floating around there. And if you want to see me personally, I don't know why, but you can follow me at twitter.com/Lou Contaldi. Yeah, my beautiful beard. I'm on PlayStation at King Louis Trip. That's all one word. King Louis, as in the French one, and then Trip, T-R-I-P, as in taking a trip.
Okay.
I'm on Nintendo Network as King Louis.
Okay.
And I'm on Xbox. Oh, what was Live? That one? Is that what it's called?
I think so.
That's my latest addition is Xbox. I've never been in that space, but that's Sweet and Lou.
Okay, cool.
I went for the pun.
And actually, King Louis isn't King Louis like in the Jungle Book?
Isn't that in the Jungle Book? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I take a picture with him every time I'm in Disney.
Actually, my wife and I have a picture with him when we went on our honeymoon to Disney World. It was King Louis and Blue. We have a picture with him.
Blue.
Oh man, well that is awesome. We'll absolutely have links to that in the show notes as well to get to your stuff. And on our video portion, we'll have your your contact information below your picture too, so people can find you. And beard. That's right. Well, you guys,
beard that's essential.
Well, you guys know you can find Life of Gaming every other week on iTunes. We're also on SoundCloud and the Microsoft MP3 store. You guys can find us on Facebook at Life of Gaming Podcast and Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod. And on our YouTube page, make sure to check out our YouTube page. We have a lot of content going up there now, especially with we have a bunch of new indie log videos going up. We talk about favorite indie games, reviews, and previews, all sorts of awesome content. And Brant, if you get on the ball, sir, we should have your video up here pretty soon.
I promise I will have my video up.
Right.
Soon.
It's okay. We actually have a brand new indie log video going up. Well, by the time you hear this, it will be up. So check that out. It should be up on Thursday of this week. So you guys probably get this on Saturday. Whenever you hear it, it should be there. Check it out. But you guys can find me on Twitter at JamesPlus12 and on Wii U and Xbox, Jamester0722. And Brant, what about you, sir?
On Twitter, you can find it at @minusthebrant, MINUSBRANT. And there's a "the" in the middle there, which I left out for some reason. and you can find me on PSN at the same name. And yep.
Awesome. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this show. We have much more content coming up, some great guests coming up in the future. Make sure to check out Lou's stuff. And until next time, guys, we are out.
Bye.